We are back with our weekly chat with Jason Mackey. We're on the Pirates YouTube channel for our second and third segments today. I'm Adam Bittner, assistant sports editor for Multimedia. He's Jason Mackey. We're talking Travis Williams, Surfside ads, Bucco Bricks, the atmosphere at PNC Park these days with very few fans. Lots to get to on that front. We're also going to talk a little baseball in the second segment, reaction to the Yankees and Cardinals series of the past week. What did we learn about this team? Are there some encouraging signs after that really bad start? Excited to dig into all of that with Jason. Before we do, just want to thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Green & Walt Roofing. Hey, Pittsburgh, when you think of great roofs, you think of Green & Walt Roofing Company. With over 20 years of experience, Green & Walt knows your roof is your home's first line of defense from rain, wind, snow, and ice. That's why Green & Walt Roofing standard for perfection is so important. You can trust that their team of experienced installers will treat your property like it's their own. When it comes to roof replacements, Green & Walt Roofing is Pittsburgh's only choice. Visit greenandwaltroofing.com today or call 412-314-8882 to schedule your free estimate. PA contractor number 36262. Okay, Jason. Bucco Bricks in a dump somewhere.
Where to start?
People's names, memories, sent to a recycling facility. The infamous Surfside ad obscuring what was a nice tribute to Roberto Clemente. And that's really not it. I mean, the seats were as empty as I can remember them on a 3-game series at PNC Park for this Cardinals series. They were announced attendances were in the 8,000, but I don't think there were 8,000 people there.
For all 3 days combined, Adam. I'm not
right.
sure. I don't know if they got to 8,000.
Right. There's a well-circulated report about the team, possibly losing some money. Their television station is seemingly begging for advertising dollars with an email address. Like every, commercial break, they're saying, hey, advertise with us, which can't be a phenomenal sign for the viability of your TV product. Is this team a bigger mess on the field or off the field right now?
Man, I didn't expect you to hit me with that one. Probably off the field.
I agree, Jason. I believe it or not.
Yeah, I people will get on me about this and have got I think some of their problems are fixable. I don't think their offense is going to be this bad all season. Paul Skenes isn't going to pitch the way he did in his last start all season. I think their bullpen to some degree can improve. Fundamentally, I think there's some areas and whatever. That's not the conversation topic right now. The conversation topic right now is you look around. Everything else. And if we want to rank these in orders of stuff that scares me, Bucco Bricks is 1. Attendance might be 2. It's also freezing cold, a midweek series against a Cardinals team that is not nearly as good as in the past, coming off of an offseason where people aren't that excited about what they did. They're more frustrated than anything. I understand why the vitriol came out the way it did on the home opener. Certainly, that we've talked about that repeatedly, Adam. That stuff's going to exist until they disprove it. I mean, if I would put a poll right now on social media, do you approve of the job that Derek Shelton has done, or do you not approve? That's going to be a 0% approval rating right now. And he unfortunately bears, a lot of the frustration directed at Bob Nutting, Travis Williams, Ben Charrett. Derek Shelton can't affect the size of his team's payroll, but he's going to absorb it because he's the only one that's introduced. The question was, is it a bigger mess off the field or on the field? I say off the field. And I just think the Bucco Bricks thing was a culmination of it. The Clemente advert, that was an oversight, but I can't look at the Pirates and say, look, you haven't done enough to respect your former players or honor your former players, or you haven't done enough to respect Roberto Clemente. It's no, that's wrong. It was an oversight. They came out 24 hours later. They fixed it. The ad's already in the ballpark. They goofed. They apologized. How mad are we going to get here? The Bucco Bricks thing, I mean, I just filed a mailbag. What those are, that's the equivalent of a baseball gravestone that you have dug up without talking to people and put in a dump in Reserve Township, and now kind of haphazardly saying you're going to be repurposing them into something else. Man, that's the entire reason people still go to the park and still follow this team and care. It's family. I use the analogy in there. I'm sorry, I'm going to shut up after this, Adam. It just touches the nerve. Like, if that was my dad died way too young in 2018. We shared baseball more than anything else. If we had bought a Bucco brick and you threw that away and I didn't have an opportunity to get that, like, my gosh, that's just, that hurts. That hurts to even say it. Like, that is a way bigger deal than, oh, we goofed on a Clemente ad and then we put it back 24 hours later.
Yeah, I can see that perspective. I don't know. The Bucco brick thing didn't super bother me. If you still plan to have a tribute to these people in the ballpark, like somewhere they can go and somewhere they can look at.
Was that announced? Was that announced beforehand?
It was not announced beforehand what they were going to do. I think that it was a response after the fact, and that's absolutely true. I think that sets up the point that I'm about to make, which is that I don't know how they're so tone deaf that they can't anticipate this stuff, and that they really don't get that they seem to think that they're entitled to benefit of the doubt from people. And I don't know on what planet they can believe that that's true, and that they don't have, every time they make a decision like this, they don't have a conversation about how it could go wrong because people are really mad at us. That should be part of every meeting they have on these topics. And it very much seems like it's not. And I think that's a much bigger problem than, listen, there's still 21s all over that wall, and he's still all over the ballpark. There's still a statue out there. To me, it's just, they should have known how it could be interpreted, and that no one was going to cut them any slack on opening day like that.
And it's really weird, Adam. I don't understand this. They're very worried, all professional sports teams are, about controlling narratives surrounding them. It's why you lean into the station that, pays you rights fees and all this stuff, and, your team radio network. And, I don't want to call it state-run media because it's not, but like, that's emphasizing what we're talking about. Like, you have ways of controlling the narrative surrounding your team. Why do you not control the narrative of something like this? Get out in front of it. Everybody understands, look, it's Pittsburgh. There's winter. You have to do sidewalk maintenance. Like, if these bricks need, fixed, reconstituted, you have to repave a sidewalk because you can't have somebody tripping and falling and they'll sue you. Like, people understand that. That's okay. Say, hey, we need to send these away. We need to excavate and explain whatever that goes into that, and say there might be a delay. We don't totally know. Like, we might have to repurpose them into another area of the park. If you would like your brick, please contact this person at this number, or, contact set up something so people can get their brick. Because I understand that records were not kept, and that's not the sin of the current regime. That happened a long time ago. But look, logistically, we're just trying to honor those who purchase bricks. We want you to be able to get your brick. Here, call us for this. I don't understand why you don't get out in front of that. Like, people would understand if you talk to them.
Yeah, and they don't like to talk. I mean, we don't hear from Travis. It feels like we don't hear from Travis Williams until something goes wrong, or he's at Pirates Fest making like a tone-deaf statement about ice cream. It's all reactive. It's never proactive.
What did he say about ice cream at Pirates Fest? Refresh my memory.
It was like last year, and he was talking about how great the ice cream was, and how fans don't need to worry about the product because there's ice cream in the ballpark. Yeah, I forget the exact
Instagrammable moments and other stuff. I mean, here's the problem. Let's talk about this real quick. I mean, he's mistitled. Travis Williams is mistitled. Travis Williams does not have a bunch of baseball oversight, but he's titled as the president of the team. And this is a similar thing that the Pirates do. Like, they want to have this, they want to have that. You can't have Travis Williams, who largely isn't involved in baseball decisions, up on the dais, or the dais, whatever you say, Pirates Fest, with Shelton and Charrington talking about like the future and the state of the team. But he's also, the business guy, and he's going to be talking about the ballpark amenities and this, that, and the, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough you probably want Charrington to be your president of baseball operations, but they can't do that because they haven't won. And that's really, he's the voice on baseball, and he's who should be speaking for these decisions, but nobody wants to hear that. And he's still the GM, and it just sounds weird because Travis is titled president of everything. He should be Travis Williams, president of baseball or business operations. It's a whole convoluted way of saying that, that they could use some clarity in a lot of what they do.
Well, yes, but I think he's it's tone deafness, and it still comes back to that for me, and that's
maybe it's a more succinct way of saying it.
Yeah, he's not good at that stuff, and I'll even say this, Jason, PNC Park is not what it used to be, in my opinion. And if you're going to grade Travis Williams on running the business, it takes forever to get in the stadium. I don't know how familiar you are with this because you usually go to the press box, but when I go in, I have to wait in a long line, even if it's not that big of a crowd, to get in because they only have a couple gates open on each side, a couple ticket takers. You get inside, the food is not as good as it is outside the stadium. There's all these restaurant options on the North Shore. PNC Park has not kept up with that. It used to be a place you went to for the food as much as anything else when it opened. Remember, Jason?
Yeah.
Everyone raving about how great the food was. That day has long since passed. Those little things in the game day presentation that they used to do, they'd have the players all do their own little light bright and have those things come across, or do like their own paintings or something. And now it's just a stock image that they throw up. It seems like the whole facade of PNC Park itself is being held up by the view, and that they seem to be cutting costs everywhere else.
I agree with some of that. I mean, the in and out could be better. I see that. I don't experience it, but I mean, where we walk in, you see a line of people going down General Robinson that, like, I don't care how big your crowds are, like that can't happen that close to a first pitch. I mean, you have to have a better way of getting people in and out. I look at prices and what people are expected to pay and the product on the field. Like, the ticket prices are good comparatively. I know people, they certainly take advantage of surge pricing and that sort of thing. They're not alone. And I'm not defending anything. I like the idea of, like, the ballpark pass and some of the standing room only and the bars and the outfield. Like, I think they've done a good job with that stuff. Some of the kids' amenities, I think of that more, having a 6 and 11-year-old. Like, I can take my kids to PNC Park and they're going to have a good time. Now, granted, like, they're kids in baseball. Like, it's kind of hard to screw that up. And I'm certainly not, I'm not about to defend the Pirates and how they've operated PNC Park, but I don't know. I just, it's probably a deeper discussion, and I'm getting tripped up because they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt right now. I'm not trying to give it to them. It's just some of the mistakes they've made are so easily preventable that it's astonishing.
How much of this, and I'll get you out of this topic on this, how much of this is Bob Nutting seeing and hearing, and maybe not in the way people want him to with the sell the team chants and all that, but with his front office regarding baseball, but also, how this business is being run and how some of these things have unfolded this week.
I mean, he's the top. It's not, you can't escape it. It's all on him. Why are we doing this? That's a thought that I had on the home opener. Like, is he having fun? Are the fans in the stands having fun? Is the city having fun? Is the media having fun? Like, it shouldn't all be perfect. I mean, look at the Steelers. People are going to get upset. They're going to get mad. They're going to have emotional reactions or whatever. Like, you have the owner of the team that can't walk from A to B without getting accosted. And, that sucks for Bob. I also understand why people are doing it, and people should voice their displeasure however they see fit. If you want to fly a plane and convey your message, you should. You want to yell and scream and boo, as long as it's, not getting violent or, it's in the confines of the law, you should. It's just, my point is that from all sides, this just stinks. Like, isn't it time for somebody else to take a turn on the ride? Like, shouldn't we just, out of the sake of, like, we tried this a long time. Doesn't seem to be going great. Maybe somebody else will have some luck. But, like, Bob is hunkered down in this. That he likes it. He wants to be a part of this. I just often don't understand why. Why not give somebody else a chance? Of course, you should look at him. He's the owner of the team, and he's hung on to a regime that has not done enough. They're behind schedule in so many ways, and he has thrown his faith behind them, and I don't understand why. They need a winning streak. They need to turn this thing around. I just can't really point to anything that's going to trigger that. Like, it's just, I don't know, Adam. It's just,
yeah. Well, and I think what do we know about a great organization across town with the Penguins? One Travis Williams was a part of for a period of time, is that they made the Ron Hextall decision it messed a lot of things up. They're still living with the consequences of the Ron Hextall tenure, but they cleaned it up in a much shorter period of time than the Pirates have done, and that's why they've had extended agony. And there needs to be more willingness, I think, moving forward. If you do move on from this front office, to pivot and say, being able to see when things are not working, and not just give these guys scholarships because you think it'll work out exactly the way it did with Neil Huntington when he got an extended run at rebuilding this team. But Jason, we're going to get into some sunnier topics, which was a mixed bag of results against the Yankees and Cardinals for the baseball team on the field. Excited to dig into that with you. Before we do, just want to thank another sponsor. It's UFC Gym Pittsburgh. Are you ready to train like a champion? UFC Gym has everything for total body health under one roof. They have group classes from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to Zumba, personal training, cardio, weights, cryotherapy, infrared saunas, and more, all for an unbeatable price. Not sure where to begin? All members get a starter session with an expert coach to help map out your fitness plan. Your first visit is on us. Drop in with free parking in Market Square or the waterfront. Follow UFC Gym on social media. Train different, feel unstoppable at UFC Gym. We also have a message from our friends in Bradenton, Florida.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at Bradenton.
We are back on the Jason Mackey chat here on the Post-Gazette Pirates YouTube channel. We're talking about the team on the field and what it's done for the past week against the Yankees and Cardinals. Jason, some people talking about a little bit of a velocity drop for Paul Skenes, coinciding with possibly his worst outing as a Pirate on Tuesday at PNC Park in a loss to the Cardinals. Is that the cold in your mind, Jason? Yeah. Is it part of getting stretched out early in the season at the major league level, or is it a legit concern in your mind?
Not at all. Not at all, Adam. We could spend 2 hours, probably a lot more, talking about all that ails the Pirates and the many things to be concerned about them. Paul Skenes, how he performed in his last start, is not on that list for me. It's nowhere close. It was cold. It was miserable. Paul Skenes, California boy who pitched in college at Air Force and LSU. The only exposure he would have had to awful cold weather is in Colorado. I can't go there. I can't go there. I think he's going to be fine. It's one start, not a trend. His velocity has not been down for any stretch of time. Even the last start, I don't think it was anything that really would have concerned me. If that was a 95-degree day in June or 85-degree day in June, whatever it is, maybe I would have been concerned. Not given the context.
Well, and if a bad start for Paul Skenes is still getting 6 innings, they should have been in that ball game if they were scoring runs early on. I think you'll take that. It's they've had so many of these guys that come in and just get shelled off the bat, Jason. Yeah. And the fact that he, still gave them 6 innings, still had them in the game. If that's a bad start for him, I think you can live with that. I wanted to ask you about the bullpen. Denis, Santana, Caleb Ferguson, Justin Lawrence. All pitching solidly now that they're getting, maybe some higher leverage innings with Colin Holderman, David Bendar out of the picture for now. How are you feeling about, that group and some of these names Ben Cherington brought in? I think it's going to be hard for them to continue pitching this well. They got some phenomenal stats, but at least, early on, they're showing some levels of reliability that we haven't seen from people other than Colin Holderman and David Bednar in recent years.
Yeah. I mean, at minimum, I like that they've been able to find some guys. This is what a front office in the Pirate situation should be doing. You should be finding the Ryan Baruckis of the world, the Denis Santanas of the world. You bring them up here and accentuate their strengths. It's what the former Pirates regime, it's what Neil Huntington did a great job of, and this group hasn't done enough of it. Now, it's still mediocre to below average because the best guys there haven't panned out, meaning Bednar, Holderman, the names you're talking about. But I mean, if you can get those guys, figure it out. If you can get Bednar back up here in the best version of him, if you can figure out what was ailing Colin Holderman, then I think you have something. But I like what Lawrence has brought. I think that's sweeper. I think, I questioned that initially. And as of now, I feel like I was probably wrong there. There's been enough. There's been swing and miss with that pitch, and it plays. Baraki's been very good. Santana's been very good. Caleb Ferguson, frankly, has looked like a very solid signing. Tim Meza, I haven't quite understood the usage or his performance so far. It's almost like they're using him at a, more of a long man, intermittent, early in games kind of role. But shoot, Joey Wentz has been pretty good. I like the multitude of lefties they have down there. So, I mean, they've done some good things about building a bullpen. It's just the scary part is the level of performance they've gotten from Bendar and Holderman.
On the offensive side, Jason, I think there were some solid storylines developing offensively until they went, 13 innings without scoring the other day, or 12 innings before they scored a run. In that, ultimately, it was a win against the Cardinals, but it was ugly, offensively. I think a lot of inquiring minds would like to know how much latitude guys like Adam Frazier, Tommy Pham are going to keep getting. Maybe not so much in terms of their roster spot, because I think it's way too early to talk about them losing roster spots, but in terms of the playing time that they've been getting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to – who was the owner? Was it the Reds owner said, like, where else are you going to go? Or what else are you going to do? Like, I don't want it to sound that crass, but it's kind of that idea. Like, who else do they have that's really pushing for time? Is there anybody that's tearing the cover off the ball right now that deserves to play? I mean, I don't know. Somebody might point to Matt Gorski. I answered a question in my mailbag about that one, but they're paying Tommy Pham, they're paying Frazier, they're paying him major league money. I don't feel great about saying it, but I mean, the whole offense is struggling. They're hitting 198 as a team. Like, it's got a lot of guys that need to turn it around. And I don't think after 2 weeks, you're going to ditch the veterans that you've brought in. People will get upset about that. They do every year. And I certainly understand it. They haven't been good enough and they need to improve. I just don't see them, Adam, as going, taking drastic steps roster wise, lineup wise. Like, they're going to run those guys out there as much as anybody.
Well, and this is something we talked a little bit about last week, but we can bring it up again, Jason, but these guys are trying to save their jobs. Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton, they're fighting for their jobs. And do they want to trust it to, especially if you're Derek Shelton and you're writing out that lineup card every day. He has not in 6 years seen a lot of guys come up from AAA or AA or wherever they promoted them from and making an immediate impact and change narratives. We've seen mostly struggles. So are you going to hit yourself to bringing a young player up here and watching him struggle for 2 months where you may not be here for 2 months if things don't go right? I think that is as much a reason for anything why we're going to keep seeing Tommy Pham and Adam Frazier, because their baseline should be higher than these younger guys that you're going to bring up that are going to fluctuate.
I agree with you, but you also get a reputation. The Pirates have a hard enough time getting people to play here to begin with. Like, they're already one of the last dogs at the bowl. And so what? 2 weeks into a season, you're going to DFA a veteran that you just signed for $4 million? Like, even or take away his playing time or something like that. What veteran are you going to get to sign to come here? If you say, like, hey, look, this is how we see you fitting, this is the playing time we're going to give you, this is the situation we have, and you convince them to sign a contract here, why next winter would a veteran who has any other option in Major League Baseball ever think about coming to the Pirates if they pulled the plug on you in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't do that. You have to honor what you signed up to give these guys who came to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and if you the time for the young guys to step up was a year ago or 2 years ago, and this front office is out of time to wait, and I think that is part of the conversation that's going to continue evolving, even if this goes on another couple weeks or another couple months. Jason, are you more encouraged or discouraged by KeyBrian Hayes? I think you look at the stat line. I've got it here. OPS is still at 683. He's hitting 239. The one home run, a couple other extra base hits. So just looking at the stat line, I don't know if it's the most encouraging thing in the world, but knowing what he's done with his injury situation and how he looks physically, we talked about it in spring training. How is it translating for you to the regular season?
I'd actually say encouraged on that one, Adam. He's moving around. I love the alertness. I mean, as stupid as a play yesterday as that was with Bart and Endy colliding, and somebody needs to talk to each other. The Pirates still are struggling to do this. There was a collision the other day in the outfield. I forget exactly who was involved. I think Sawinski was one of them, whatever. What was the question?
Are you more encouraged or discouraged? Are you more encouraged or discouraged by what you've seen?
Thank you. More encouraged, because KeyBrian picking up that ball and getting it out, the alertness, He made another play at third, kind of dancing around and contorting his body to nail a throw there. I just like the way he's moving. I don't have an issue if you're telling me KeyBrian Hayes is going to have a full bill of health. Like if that wish is magically granted, I think he's going to have a pretty good season. I don't know if you could magically grant that wish because he's been so injured. But ability-wise, if he's healthy for 162, which he's been healthy so far for 2 weeks, okay, I think he's going to be fine. It's so more encouraged just by the fact that I think he's there. He seems like he's there.
Well, we're still at the point, Jason, where a couple rough nights can mess things up statistically. He through Monday, so that win against the Cardinals, he was hitting 263, had an OPS at 754. If you're getting that closer to that from KeyBrian Hayes all season, I think a lot of people would sign for that in blood. So yeah, a couple rough days, but you know, if he keeps playing like he was until that point, I think things are going to be just fine with him. It's certainly encouraging for me as well. It remains, though, Jason, hard to imagine this team without Andrew McCutchen and the professional at bats. Just the way his approach is just seems like miles different than everyone who is around him. And you kind of like, even though he's not the guy that he was early in his career, he's not the difference maker. You know that he's going to go up there and you know, have a plan. And that's why it was, you know, I think they pinch hit McCutchen for O'Neal Cruz, and a lot of people were upset about that. But, you know, they were down a couple of runs the other night. He's to me their most professional hitter, and maybe that's not their best hitter. Maybe that's O'Neal Cruz at this point, but I still love watching Andrew McCutchen play even at this stage, and it's concerning that so much still seems to fall on him in terms of production.
And how about the outfield play, huh?
I know he's made a couple of picks out there.
Youth out there. Keep playing him. No, I don't want to keep playing him in the outfield like too much and then run him down. And then he's, you know, laid up by May. That's not good. I've been impressed. The Cruz pinch hitting situation, I do believe that was a finger issue for Cruz that he injured. Like, I don't think that was by choice. It was a freezing night. I don't know why you would pinch hit your 38-year-old in the ninth inning. You're not trying to get him in at bat there. Like, he's probably frozen solid, but if you have something where Cruz can't go. Anyway.
And Cruz got popped in the shoulder pretty good. I mean, did you like the way that pitch hit him in the shoulder early in the game was rough.
And maybe that was too. I don't know. But I don't think nobody has clarified this, and I was not there for Todd Tomczyk on Wednesday. But I can't imagine that like Kutch pinch hitting in that situation was, you know, just getting him in at bat. Like, I think Cruz was nicked up at that point. Either way, man, I mean, you could spend $5 million a worse way. I had no issue with them bringing back Kutch. I think you have to bring back Kutch. You say the DH is limiting, but, you know, it's one storyline out of the first 2 weeks. Like, it really hasn't been that limiting. You can play him in the outfield. He's been just fine out there. They've certainly run out a lot worse. Again, I wouldn't do it all the time, but 1 or 2 days a week to give yourself some flexibility. Yeah, I think Kutch would be fine there. I think he enjoys it a little bit. It's fun watching him play baseball. It's fun seeing what he represents to the city. It's fun talking to him and interacting with him always. Makes me think how much longer he wants to keep doing this too. I mean, he doesn't commit ever to this being it. And I don't think we'll know until it's like just an Irish goodbye and Kutch tweets something. He is the kind that would tweet something and just with a peace sign. Like, I do see that coming from Kutch. That's his personality. He said that to me in the spring, and then you don't hear from him for a couple of years. I get that. But it's been fun watching him. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are treating it as a fait accompli that he's done after this season. Especially on this team, it's hard for me to envision that being 100% the case. So
I especially with him, like, he's loving it. He's having fun. If his health is there, he can still do it. Nah, he's like Sid, man. He's a lot like Sid. If he can still do it at a high level, if he can meet his standard, I think he's going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm not writing him off by any means. Anyway, Jason, thanks for talking to me today. Covered a lot of ground. Always a great conversation. If you enjoyed the video, please pop a like on it. Help us out in the YouTube algorithm. We always appreciate that. If you're new to our new Pirates channel here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe as well so you can see everything me and Jason are talking about every week, but also everything Colin Beasley, Noah Hiles are doing on the Pirates beat itself. Jason, looking forward to talking to you again already next week. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.